Very important. Let's do our Pranam mantras to Prabhupada, shall we? Let's see. I'm just trying to see how many more people we have here. Okay. How many do we have? 8 people? Is that all?
9.
Yes, Maharaj.
9. It's so small. Let's begin. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminita Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishi Shunyavadi Paskajari Sakarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you so much. Okay, then we'll go to page 1 of our introduction. Om Jnana Timarandasya
Om
Jnana Timarandasya
Yananjana Shalakaya
Jnananjana Shalakaya
Chakshurun Militam Yena
Chakshurunmilitam Yena
Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
I was born in the darkest ignorance,
I was born in the darkest ignorance,
and my spiritual master opened my eyes
and my spiritual master opened my eyes
with the torch of knowledge.
with the torch of knowledge.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai. Jai.
Okay, our host Vaishnavi will lead us to the truth.
We will be doing today starting from 16th chapter, 8th verse.
Okay, chapter 16, the divine and demoniac natures. And it's verse number 8. Oh yeah, this is a good one. Prabhupada quoted this one here and there. It was quite nice. Okay, here we go. I'll do the Sanskrit and the English. Asatyam apratishtante Sigat ahur enishwaram aparaspara sambhutam kim anyat kama haitukam. Translation. They say that this world is unreal, with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. Hare Krishna. I think we can get 4 people to read this. Do you want to form the queue? Mother Vaishnavi? Hello.
Mother, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, Anutama, your family, you can go. And then Mansi Ganga and Pavitra.
We got about 4 people, right? So you're saying Anutama, Sweta, and then Mansi Ganga?
And Pavitra.
Pavitra. Okay, great. All right, on your mark, get set, go.
The demonic conclude that the world is phantasmagoria. There is no cause and effect, no control, no purpose. Everything is unreal. They say that this cosmic manifestation arises due to chance, material actions, and reactions. They do not think that the world was created by God for a certain purpose. They have their own theory that the world has come about in its own way and that there's no reason to believe that there's a God behind it.
For them, there is no difference between spirit and matter, and they do not accept the Supreme Spirit. Everything is matter only, and the whole cosmos is supposed to be a mass of ignorance. According to them, everything is void, and whatever manifestation exists is due to our ignorance in perception. They take it for granted that all manifestation of diversity is a display of ignorance. Just as in a dream, we may create so many things which actually have no existence.
Thank you. Manasi Ganga? Hello.
So when we, can you hear Maharaj?
Yes.
Yeah,
So when we are awake, we shall see that everything is simply a dream. But factually, although the demons say that life is a dream, they are very expert in enjoying this dream. And so instead of acquiring knowledge, they become more and more implicated in their dreamland. They conclude that as a child is simply the result of sexual intercourse between man and woman, this world is born without any soul. For them, it is only a combination of matter that has produced the living entities, and there is no question of existence of the soul. As many living creatures come out from perspiration and from a dead body without any cause, the whole living world has come out of the material combinations of cosmic manifestation.
thank you so
Therefore,
much.
Hare Krishna.
Therefore, material nature is the cause of this manifestation, and there is no other cause. They do not believe in the words of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam. Under my direction, the whole material world is moving. In other words, among the demons, there is no perfect knowledge of the creation of the world. Every one of them has some particular theory of his own. According to them, one interpretation of the scriptures is as good as another, for they do not believe in a standard understanding of the scriptural injunctions.
Well, thank you very much, all of you who have come forward to read the purport of this, fairly well-established verse. Okay, this pretty much, to say this shloka very much narrows down into a nutshell what is the belief system of someone who's in the demoniac category. Now, I know demoniac or demonism, they're strong words. They do apply in certain circumstances. There are people out there, some that I know, who dare declare themselves to be atheists, and they're not such bad people. I would say for the most part, they've been misled and they don't generally understand, like some of the arguments against the case of atheism. But it would be nice to explore some of that through our discussion right now, our talks. For a lot of people who have no, let's say, room for contemplation on the absolute truth, they tend to narrow everything down to like what Freud was talking about. Everybody knows Freud, the philosopher. He is loved by some people and he's loathed by others. He was talking about everything narrows down to sex, desire, sexual activities. And he believes that's what's in people's minds, and maybe he's right. But what we're seeing here is that the cause of life itself is sexual activity. And while that might be true on one level, it's not true on another level. We just procreate here in this world. We don't really create, we procreate. We kind of duplicate what was done before. The original duplication of giving birth and, let's say, intercourse comes from Krishna himself. He declares that he's everyone's father. He says, Ang Bija Prada Pita. He's the seed-giving father of all living beings. So that's one area of reference where we can talk about some kind of divine sex was enacted and then the world was created. Krishna openly declares, I'm the father of all. We also have a rendition of creation in the Bhagavatam, whereby Vishnu is his usual self. He is permanent, he's in eternal reality, and he looks at the Pradhan. The Pradhan or Mahatattva is that energy all lumped together, like the whole gamut of what we know in the material world is looked at. The Lord looks at this energy, it gets agitated, and then the creation comes into being. That's like the simple story of it all, as we understand it. Let's see. So that's one thing. That's explained somewhat in the detail in the Bhagavatam. The other rendition of birth has to do with the help of Shiva and Parvati. So Shiva is generally known for the one who destroys, but in the case of his divine yoni, or what you would call the Shivalingam, lingam, and the combination of the yoni of the goddess Parvati, which are worshipped by people from the land of Bharat and in the Vedic system. We in Krishna Bhakti, we don't spend much time in it, and we generally don't have a Shiva Lingam that we display in our temples. But that union of these two divine beings is supposed to be a rendition of the creation of the world. I think most of us know that, right? And a lot of people we hear that kind of story, they talk about divine male and divine female, and that their divine genitalia has come together is a rendition of the how nature was created. So they kind of like that. A lot of people that, at least I remember hearing it from one person from our congregation. His name Henry's his name, Vandenberg or something like that, from Dutch origin. He was explaining to a friend of his who came for the first time, this is what this lingam means. It's the where the origin of the world. That's like a divine male organ and the divine female organ come together to create the world. Now, in Prabhupada's books, there is some mention of this in the Chaitanya Charitamrita about this particular explanation. So never have I really discussed with any devotees at length about these three different scenarios, or as particularly with Vishnu and Parvati and with Shiva and Vishnu and Lakshmi and Parvati and Shiva, and how they are compatible with one another. They seem to be two stories, but I think what we can say clearly is that it takes a person, two people, to come together, in this case, people of sacred status, to come together to make the world what it is. If you take another scenario, I think the Christians do talk about God creating the world and he had a desire. So to some extent, we agree with that. And then took him 6 days to create the world. And I believe on the 7th, he needed a day of rest. So that's what we've heard from some people. How accurate it is from a Christian theological perspective, I'm not quite sure. But one thing we can say is that the world has not come about just out of nothing. It's not a Big Bang theory. It's not something pop, snap, crackle, pop, and here's the world, or abracadabra, or or somebody waving a magic wand. It is it's kind of human-like in a way. Yeah. So when it comes to the people who are in the category of the asuras, they just like to let's narrow everything down to sex. That's the only thing that's important to them. And one popular song that came out, "Love Makes the World Go Round." Okay, that's one truth there. Prabhupada also uses the word dream. And dream is a word that would describe a non-reality fiction, if you will. And just like there was a little nursery rhyme, maybe some of you know it. My godbrother, Rupanuga, was from the States. He used to say this all the time: row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, merrily, merrily. Life is but a dream. Hare Krishna. And that it is. The material world is a dream. But the world of eternity doesn't function like that. You know, there's permanence in the spiritual world, and in the material world, everything is very temporary. Hare Krishna. So I thought I'd start with those points. Is there anybody who would like to add something, or if you have some questions, we could throw around a little bit? Hello? Anybody? Or have we gone quiet? Okay, so what do you think about this verse? Is there truth to this matter?
Maharaj.
Yes.
Question. So if people consider Lord Shiva to be the creator, is that considered to be Mayavadi?
Not necessarily. I wouldn't say it's Mayavadi, because Mayavad usually refers to no interaction with personages, right? And here we do have an example of Shiva and Parvati coming together like people. And at least if you go by that rendition, the world is created. So you would revere that action of the divine male and divine female helping to create the world. Mind you, our idea of the real world is not the mundane world in which we live. We would prefer that nobody creates the world, but because we demanded it, we were it's hot on the market for conditioned souls, right? We want the material world. We want to carry on. We want to taste what is to be tasted. We want to drink what is to be drunk, etc., etc. We want to be tantalized. We want to stimulate our senses all the time. Yeah. So I wouldn't say it's Mayavad. I wouldn't call it that, but I have not actually had a discussion, as I said, about devotees on this particular topic about creation. You know, you've got Vishnu and then the material energy, and he agitates it. It's like that Pradhana or that Mahatattva is like female energy, right? And he looks at it, he glances at it, and it gets agitated, and then suddenly many things are manifested. So there's that story, and there's the other story, which is explained by about Shiva and Parvati. And you know, in our culture, we don't usually have a problem with accommodating different scenarios. Okay, let me give you another example. When we discuss the Bhagavad Gita, we look at this as a historical event. Krishna was there. Krishna was there with Arjuna. And some people will like to go through the allegory or an analogy of what Krishna represents, the great intelligence. The soul is the passenger, you know, and the Pandavas represent the five senses, you know. Like some people want to accept that as the truth, and we're okay with it. It's not a problem. But those of us who are very strong in the Bhakti lineage, we very much embrace the concept that Krishna is behind all of this, and that it is a historical personage And you can go to places in India where you see Kurukshetra, where it took place, the battle, and other like Hastinapur, and you can drag people by the ears and say, you don't believe in all this stuff. You think it's just a big dream, a fairy tale. Well, let me take you to some places and tell me what you think after I drag you to these places, and see what you think then. So what's nice about Krishna Consciousness, we can accept both scenarios because we have little demons inside, right? They can be Duryodhana, they can be Dushashan, and so on. Just like all the asuras that we read about in the Mahabharata are kind of within us. I mean, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also took the liberty to explain that, like, Putana represents, a particular characteristic that's negative, and then Bakasura represents someone else. He goes so far as to say that. So, at least for myself, I find great comfort in knowing that you can, let's say, accept both platforms. Okay, does that make any sense to some of you? And you have a little bit of an option. To those people who are sort of emotionally driven, they like the story of the Pandavas. They like the story of Mahabharata and the history of the greater world, and as it's outlined in the epics, right? And the Puranas and so on. And then other people who are a little bit more analytical, and they may doubt the stories. Well, you just tell them this other, view, which is to look at Krishna as the great intelligence, and we have the senses, you have the mind, which represents the reins on the horses, and so on like that. The body could refer to the rath, the chariot, things like that. I mean, most people come from the background of being doubting and being skeptical. So for them, we can tell them this scenario. But we should also not be shy to say, hey, we have purchased both scenarios. We like them both. All right. Any thoughts on that? Okay, then we shall remain silent. Let us do chant Om somewhere then. Any other points that you perhaps want to cover? We could sit under a sycamore tree or palm tree and just chant Om.
Maharaj,
Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
There is Jiva Tattva, Vishnu Tattva, and Shiva is a Tattva by himself. Where does he fall?
Yeah, you're right. Shiva Tattva is somewhere in the middle. Jiva Tattva refers to us. There's Swangsha and Vibhanangsha. Swangsha refers to the God manifestation. Vibhanangsha is the term that refers to the Jiva manifestation. Jiva is individual souls like you and I. And Shiva, we say that when people ask us to identify Shiva, we say he's a manifestation of God, an aspect of God, and he involves himself in destruction. So there's no harm in saying that. Shiva, according to Brahma, one of the three Trinity members, right? Brahma in his Brahma Samhita speaks about the curd and the milk. The milk is like Krishna, and the curd or yogurt, the byproduct, is Shiva. So Shiva is dependent on Krishna, and it's not the other way around. And some people, they like to, let's say, they like to make a case of, well, Shiva is greater than Krishna, or yes, or greater than Ram. And some people, you'll hear them say, well, it was Shiva who was called upon by Ram when Ram wanted to cross the ocean, Indian Ocean, to get to Lanka. So one way for us to view that is that we are not against worshiping Shiva because he's a great Vaishnava, right? All Vaishnavas, we adore them. Like I look at Uday, look at Arjun, I see Sankalpa, I see Anantashesh, the people in the row, and all of you there, you're all devotees of the Lord. So we worship and honor them all. Lord Shiva is in a special category. He is very close to being 100% God, Bhagavan. But there is a distinction made by Brahma, and this is the Brahma Samhita, and that's what Prabhupada and the Acharyas and the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition reference. I'm sure you've all heard that before.
Yes.
Shiva represents the curd or the cheese or whatever you want to call it, or the yogurt. But he is dependent on the one personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, and it's just not the other way around. And I would just recommend that, some people want to get into a big bout over it. I know one man in Winnipeg, every time I see him, he'd like to make a big argument about Krishna and Vishnu. I said, relax, it's not important. They're one but different. It's not a big deal. As long as you can honor Vishnu. If you want Vishnu, that's your preference, go right to it. It's not a problem. I have a friend. He's a former school teacher. His name's Tom from Windsor, Ontario. And he's been a follower of Krishna consciousness for a long time, many years. But he always ends up with this, hey, listen, hey, Maharaj, can you do me a favor? I say, yeah, what is the favor? Can you put in a good word for Vishnu on my behalf? So I said, yeah, sure, no problem. Okay, so we hit some points here in our discussion. Is that okay? Yeah.
I have a follow-up on that. You mentioned the word Trinity. Does the Trinity concept come from the Christian tradition?
Well, Christians never spoke English in the beginning. Christians spoke some other language, some Roman language. So where the word Trinity comes from, I don't know, but it refers to three. And we accept the Trinity. On that Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu, we accept the Trinity in the form of say Krishna is the Father, because he says he is. And Krishna he's that. He's also the Son as part of the Trinity, or according to Christians. The Son meaning the Shaktivesh avatar, the liberated soul, like Prabhupada. And then there's the Holy Spirit, or Paramatma, God in the heart, right? So those are two different, let's say, platforms for the case of the Trinity. But it's sometimes frustrating talking to our Christian friends. If you try to explain these things in that way, they just have heard one scenario and you're not going to get very far with them. Hate to say. So Trinity is okay, or we say Trimurti, right? Three Murtis or deities. They practically share the same status. But what I usually do when I have to explain the Trinity to people, okay, so do you see this packet here? This is herbal tea. I just might drink it tonight. Okay. So it's like a triangle, right? You can see the triangle, one at the top, one of this corner, and one in that corner. And they're equal, 3 points. They're equal. But one is at the top, and that's Vishnu. Does that help a little bit?
Yes, Maharaj, that's a good illustration.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd love to pass this on to you, Bruce, but it was a gift sent to me, so. All right. Any other discussion on this particular topic? I'm not pushing anybody. I don't mind dwelling on this for this whole session. I don't. Look at your purport. Look at and see if some of the stuff there, does it resonate with you? So that's I think what we can do. We'll ask each and every one of you, look at a line or a related line in this purport, and let's discuss. Bring it up. You bring up your thoughts on it, okay? And then we'll follow through until the end of our program here.
Charles has a question, I think.
Charles, you with us? Charles, Hariwal, it's nice to see you.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the assembled devotees.
Yes, yes.
The name Trivikram also has something to do with three, right?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
The name Trivikram also has something to do with three, right?
Oh, yes, it does. Trivikrama. Well, there might be different presentations, but one that I am aware of is krama refers to stepping, right? Is that correct? Any of you who know Hindi? Okay, so it means to take 3 steps. So who was the avatar that took 3 steps?
I don't know.
Okay, his name was Vamana. Vamana, he was someone who came like in a human form, and he was like a little boy, like a little Brahmin boy, cute little Brahmin boy, and he had like matted hair. He was like a yogi, and he wore skin, and he wore sandals, and he always carried an umbrella to protect himself from the sun.
Because Pran Govinda, His Grace Pran Govinda Das Prabhuji explained it. It's 3 victory Ram or something like that. It was, I think, is how he was explaining Trivikram.
Yes, I think there's different presentations on it. Yeah. Yeah, so there's different ways to go with the expression. Yeah.
I was just going with your Holy Trinity, or the Trinity topic is what I was also referring to with the Trivik mean 3.
Yes, well, we can certainly hear what he has to say on it next time when we get together. I think that'd be a good idea. Yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yes. Anybody who's a little bit more aware of Sanskrit can help us in that one, Trivikrama. I have a godbrother by that name. He lives in Florida.
Yeah, we have a devotee that goes by that name here in Alachua Temple too. And I think it's also the tattoo on the shoulder, right? The tilak on the shoulder blade, or on top of the shoulder, one of the body tilaks. I think it's one on the left shoulder, maybe.
It's possible. We'd like to hear. Yeah.
He's referring to the tilak mantras when we put the tilak on the body.
Oh.
Om Trivikramaya Namaha.
Oh yeah, the nomenclature, the name of Trivikrama. That's right. Yes, right. These are generally names of Vishnu, and when you apply them for safety from the Yamadutas. Yes, that's right.
Thank you for your insight, Maharaj.
Thank you. So, like we were discussing, why don't you go through this purport? I think it's an important one, because it's so relevant to today, because we have a lot of people who prescribe to the Asuram Bhavam Asrita. They are interested in this idea of a no person behind the creation, but some kind of experience, maybe some kind of being at best. But a lot of people, they're not sure, they're agnostic, so they can't explain the creation. It's too deep for them. For a lot of people, it just means let's drink some wine and have some baguettes and some cheese on it. And let's not talk about those things. All right. So please do that. Take the next 2-3 minutes, go over the purport, jot down a few things, and then we'll go around the room and very briefly describe something that resonates with you. And you can think about it in terms of today's Kali Yuga's mentality. All right? Because in Kali Yuga, in this Kali Yuga, it's ruled by, asuras, basically. Okay, and I'll just call when we're ready to go. What's the purport? Somebody's asking. Chapter 16, text 8. 16:8. So just write down the sentence that you're going to speak from briefly, and we'll take it from there. I'll be with you in a minute. Please look at this beautiful picture of Prabhupada. All right. Okay, Prabhu. So I'm just going to ask Vaishnavi if she would kindly go through our little catalog of devotees and have everyone say something about their particular sentence. What time are we on right now, by the way?
It's 5:47.
Okay, so we don't have much time. Okay. We'll start with whom?
Manasi Ganga.
Manasi Ganga. Good. Keep it short.
Material world is unreal, whereas the spiritual world is real but permanent.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Good, good. Next person.
Anuttama Prabhu.
The atheists or demons don't believe that there's a soul.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Would you elaborate a little bit more? We have a little extra time.
So those who are atheistic want physical proof, and it's hard to measure something. For them, it's seeing is believing, and it's hard to measure spiritual substances with material tools.
Nice. Good. Good stuff. Yep.
Sweta.
Yeah, so among the demons, there's no perfect knowledge of creation of the world. Every one of them has some of their own particular theory. And the reason I selected this is because I feel that people or demons are always concocting their own theory, and they're so preoccupied with that And people in general are so preoccupied with these theories that instead of working on their relationship with God, they're preoccupied with other things. So they're really missing out on what's most important, which is developing that relationship and having bhakti yoga as part of their life.
Nice, good realizations. Very nice. Good.
Ananta Sesha Prabhu.
The people who get so attracted by all the phantasmagoria, I like that word, of this world, they think that for them to enjoy all that, they tend to disown the existence of a spirit and a superior energy.
Good, nice. Thank you so much for your contribution. Nice. Good. Next.
Arjuna.
Hare Krishna. So I'll say that the problem here, the biggest issue with them is that they don't really know real religion. So like for them, the religion right now it will be like Christianity, which doesn't explain everything, and because they don't understand that we're not this body, we're the soul. They have an idea of, or they think they speculate a lot on what the world is. So with that being said, it's a very complicated issue because they don't see the soul. They only see the body. So that's why they think it's all produced with sex desire, and they think since that's the most pleasure they can get, it's a big issue because they think that's it, that's the end of life. Or like I think it was one of the Beatles that said my life is my God is my wife. I don't remember his name or her name, but I think he said that to Prabhupada. That's my God, because
Sounds like John Lennon.
Huh?
Sounds like John Lennon.
Yeah, John Lennon. Yeah, he said that. But then he got shot because he was crazy.
Sankalpa, you would know, right? You're from that period. You know how John Lennon was. Okay, good. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Rasaraj Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So this mentioned here, like chance, material creation by chance. It looks like they are referring to this being referred to the Big Bang Theory. The Big Bang Theory, even in US, has been abolished from the schools, their chapters. So the people who don't believe still believe it's just a chance creation. They should refer to these government. The government has made changes. So, and the cosmic order, the luminaries, they come and go in time, and the planets without floating, there must be some superpower behind this, so which cannot be ignored, Maharaj. That's it, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Charles.
I have to be honest, I was getting ready also for Prangovinda's class, which is directly right after this class.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Pavitra.
I was actually going with the same point as Rasraj Prabhu. In addition to that, is that people with demoniac nature, they do not believe in God nor the existence of the soul. And they think that the whole creation is just a combination of matter, and it so happens to be that life comes from it.
Yes, you speak well on that point. Good.
Sanjaya Prabhu. Sanjaya Prabhu. Uday.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Maharaj and devotees, for me, they do not believe in the words of Krishna. The purport is saying that they do not believe in the words of Krishna. And with their imperfect knowledge, they concoct theories, and they will try to pass it on the mass of people, convince them that there is no God. God doesn't exist, and they speculate. And when they speculate, they will bring out their own theory to convince others that God doesn't exist. And this is the demonic nature of these type of people. Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
So-
they want to depersonalize the world. Mhm. Okay, great.
Sankalpa.
Okay, just when I read through this whole purport, and I think it's quite shocking for a devotee to read this because it's like such a misuse of free will we have. So it's like so offensive and so just impersonal. And also, yeah, the envy towards God is just shining through all these descriptions Prabhupada gives of
Mhm.
demonic mentality.
Yeah, it's very prevalent today, for sure. And you know what I find too, anything that goes wrong, people are ready to point the finger and blame God. They don't talk about themselves, you know, having a part in it, in any mess up or anything that's misconstrued. They just want to quickly put the blame on others. Well, if there is no God in control, then you can't blame God, right? Yeah, then you have to blame everyone, humankind, right? All right. Thank you.
Uday.
Now,
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So for me, it's there is no contemplation from the side of people. Like even though they believe like lust is the cause of this world, they don't still see that if there is a man, there is a woman to fulfill that lust. So because their senses are satisfied and things are provided, they don't think much more than that. So it's something like an animal in a human body, like that is the consciousness, because animals also don't think like where they're getting their resources from. So yeah, so that's the sad part. There is no contemplation, there is just actually limited use of brain, and it's just for satisfying the senses
yes,
or engaging it.
very true, very true. Good observations. Anybody else that we haven't covered yet?
It'll be me. So Prabhupada writes one statement saying they have their own theory, meaning the demons. Sweta talked about this. So yeah, every one of us, we have our own theory that is in how we perceive things, and that is why we have to see the world through the Shastra instead of our own eyes.
Yes, Shastra Chakshu. That's right. See it through the eye of Shastra, scripture. Good. Anybody else that didn't have anything to say yet? That's about it then? Okay. Well, I would just say, I think it's a nice verse to learn, to memorize. If I could ask you, Parvus, to do that this week, why don't we do it? I mean, coming up is Christmas, and as for us, it's the month of the Gita in December coming up. And just as an offering to Krishna, why don't we learn at least a line that he spoke? Why don't we memorize the line that God put out there for us to give some thought to, right? So this is a good one. A satyam, it starts off with the unreal factor, and pratishtitam, no foundation. And even though the Jagat is there, the cosmic manifestation, we definitely see there's a world around us. Many people then conclude, well, there's no real cause behind it. There's, and even each and every tree is unique in its own way. No two trees are alike. No bushes, no animals, and so on like that. So, the world is very complicated, and we are very much in full conviction, believing that it takes a super brain to be able to manifest all of these like species of life, and that in the mastery of creation, no two are the same. They may look the same, but you'll find differences. And the terms of Kama, Dave, or the god of love, let's say, that's very much where people are at these days. Kama, Dave, Cupid is prevalent in people's lives. So much control there. And they don't even believe that they are controlled. In fact, they believe, like a lot of people have sexual prowess, they just feel, I'm in charge, I'm in control, I'm doing this wonderful thing. And like the sex act, they think it's the most wonderful practice of all of that. But they make claim that they haven't acted it. They don't want to give credit to anybody for inducing the sexual prowess in an individual. They just don't want to give credit outside of their own abilities. Even Krishna says, I'm the ability in everyone. That means he is the ability in the sexual activity, everything, but that's not where people are at, unfortunately. Good. So can we learn this for next week?
Yes, Maharaj, of course.
Now, I don't know how I'm going to be able to manage it. I'm going to be in Cuba. And even though Cuba is not far away for some of you Floridians, unless if we can meet in a raft together somewhere midstream somewhere. I'm not sure how we're going to pull it off, but we can try. Are you all ready for trying it out? Just getting ready and seeing if we get on with the Zoom call.
Is it 1 week you're gone, Maharaj?
1 week?
Is it only 1 week? 1 week you have gone? Will you be here the week after?
I'll be gone for 1 week. I'm leaving on Tuesday coming up, and I'm back the following Tuesday.
Yeah, I don't think the Cuba Wi-Fi is going to work good.
Well, things are always changing, so I don't know what to say. Why don't we just do this? Let's all get on board. Let's, whether I can be part of it or not, just go through it. And if anybody wants to take a little time, take your 10 minutes or so that you need for anybody who's enthusiastic about reciting the Sanskrit and the English. Would that make sense?
Yeah, it'll be a good opportunity
Yes,
for us to practice.
Yes, Maharaj.
Maharaj.
Okay. Yeah, the most senior-most person here is Sankalpa. Would you like to sort of, conduct the program a little bit?
I can, Vaishnavi and I, we can talk about it and do it together, I think.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Let's give
okay.
it to you two ladies this time. If it happens again, we'll ask Anutama and another person to work on it together. All right?
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm still going to try to be on with you. I'm still going to try because, when I get to when we stay at the retreat center, we have a better chance for Wi-Fi. But when we're in a town somewhere where the cows are mooing, I don't know if it's a possibility. All right. Okay, so listen, thank you very much. It was a good topic. Take care.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.